Hey everyone, I'm back. I'm here to now do speedruns. This is Giraffe and Annika, any percent. There is a ton to talk about in a very short amount of time, and we need to get it running. So I'm going to go ahead and give a countdown. Hopefully everyone is ready for that. And when I say go, you can go ahead and start the timer. So 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, so Giraffe and Annika is this nice little indie game that came out fairly in the past couple of years. First off, we're going to mash through a cutscene, and then we need to break into this house. But we can't do that through devious means, so we need to come back here and open this chest that has the key to the front door in it. And this is Lisa's house. So Lisa is going to be a pretty recurring character. I'm playing as Annika. She is a cat girl, as you can see, and why she's a cat girl, I will explain later. We're returning to night here in this bed, and I'm going to set up a glitch called ROR, and hopefully I can perform it and then explain it once I've done it. But I need to come outside the house first and then open the door again. Okay, that was a very late ROR, but that one still works. So what ROR stands for is reload outside room. When you pause the game, there's an option to reload to your most recent recovery point. There's a ton of checkpoints around the island that we're on, which is Spica Island. And when you do that, when you're hitting a loading zone, the game doesn't like that. So it thinks you're inside the house because you hit the loading zone, but then it still respawns you outside because you respawn to your most recent checkpoint. And because we just did that there on Lisa's house, we can just walk right into the first dungeon and skip a cutscene and all that fun stuff. So this game has 5 dungeons. We're going to be playing dungeon number 1 here, and then dungeon number 5. We are skipping dungeon 2, 3, and 4. Dungeon number 1 here is a forest. It's pretty simple. We just got to run through it and dodge all the ghosties and whatnot. Blue crystals, they're healing crystals. If you stand near them, they'll passively regen your health as long as you're standing within the range. But for right now, it's basically just a walking simulator. That being said, though, I'm trying to walk a pretty specific path in a pretty tight one, though it's mostly just holding forward. And the reason why I want to hit this is because there's a specific cycle on this upcoming bridge where you can get stuck on a ghost, and getting stuck is very slow, and I don't want to get stuck. So hopefully I can at least get by without getting stuck. Getting damageless is also very nice. Okay, no damageless, but I got past, which is the important part. I hug these corners. I'm probably going to get hit here. Yeah. Ghosties have a pretty wide hitbox, so I have to be a little bit careful about my health here. We're going to take a swim, and when you swim in this game, you also lose health. So you want to avoid swimming a lot, but that's about the only time we swim in the game for 80%. So we just gotta keep running, avoid these ghosties. I can take 2 more hits. Ideally, I take 0 here, though, but that's probably not gonna come to fruition. I had to play it pretty wide there so I don't get hit, so I took an extra hit early, which is unfortunate. This guy right here is annoying, and he will probably hit you, unless I get lucky. So you can kind of manipulate them with how you walk, but it's pretty difficult. So what is Giraffe and Annika, you might ask? Giraffe and Annika is a kind of a island adventure, roaming around type game. Very down to earth, just chill, very cutesy manga/comic style with how it presents its story. But there's one other major element to the game, and we're about to get into it right here with this first boss battle. So the reason why we came in here is because the other half of the game, Giraffe, or the title rather, is like, hey, I needed to go and get these stones because we don't know the mystery of this island, and I can't go in these dungeons. And Annika's like, no. And Giraffe's like, please. And Annika's like, fine. So now we're in here. But second we got to the stone, or this like little jewel that's important, Lisa comes up and she's like, hey, that's mine. I'm like, no, it's not. So now we engage in battle, and the battle is a rhythm game. So, obligatory autoscroller. This is the other main part of the game is rhythm. You can play on easy, normal, and hard. It doesn't really matter which one you play on, but it's best to play on easy because it gives you the least amount of notes to hit. On top of that, there are 4 note ranges you can hit. You can miss, okay, good, and great. The better you do, the more points you get, and the more points you get, the more frames you lose. So you want to try and only hit okay notes. These blue streams I'm dodging on purpose because if you hit the front end and hold it, it'll automatically give you another note on the back end. So I always want to dodge those as possible. And then otherwise, I'm always trying to hit an okay range on here. You're seeing I'm dropping notes on purpose. That's because I also don't want to build my combo too high. The higher your combo goes, the more of a point gain you get at the end. So you might ask, well, what's the health bar for? Basically, it just shows how well you're doing in terms of hitting all the notes in the song. As for Lisa in the top right. For Annika, that's our health bar. If it goes down to 0, then we lose and have to restart the song. So you don't want to fail the song, but you also don't want to do too well, because then you're just losing frames. So it's pretty simplistic in its design. Bump, bump, bump. Bump. And we live on move on. And that's that. That's Lisa. So we get the little end card here. A score over 2,000 is a little rough. Usually want to aim a little bit lower than that, but that's okay. So now Lisa's like, darn, you beat me, I'll be back. And then we're like, yeah, sure, whatever. So we skip that cutscene. Now we get spit out of the dungeon. Giraffe runs up. Giraffe is going to be this blue-haired follow, and he is not a giraffe. I don't know what animal he's combined with, because Annika is a cat girl, but not really that important. But, so there are no giraffes in this game, unfortunately. It's just the name of the character, that dude right there. Why he's named Giraffe, I will explain later. There's a lot of plot that I can only explain once we're in like the 5th dungeon, because we skip basically all the plot in the game. So he comes over to check on us. We're going to skip this cutscene. And then the game's like, congratulations, you beat the 1st dungeon. Your reward? You get to jump. So you're not even allowed to jump until you beat the dungeon. After this cutscene right here, though, there's going to be another one with a chest spawning. I'm going to do a cutscene walk here. I need to count for it. Okay. Hopefully that's close. I was a little off on my timing. You might have heard like a little bit of grass noises. The game auto spawns you, so you can actually start walking closer to this house, and that's where we need to go. So we need to open the door and then go back inside, because the game still thinks we're inside the house, so we need to just walk right back in. Here I'm going to set it to day. I'm going to set up a series of glitches and skips to help me progress to the 5th dungeon right now that we have the ability to jump. If I miss a skip here, I do have to reset the game in order to make the cycle, which is about 40 seconds-ish time lost, but I should be okay. The tilt tips also don't go away until you actually do the action, so if you see me fiddling with my camera, that's usually why. I don't believe jumping is any faster than walking, but I like it, so it's like we're skipping on our way. But we're going to set up an ROR here on this house called the Spook Gallery, and this is pretty important to setting up this glitch, so hopefully I hit this first try. Okay, that was a really late ROR, but this should still be fine. Okay, so now that we hit that ROR, which was really late, I'm glad I don't have to reset though. we can now run all the way back to Lisa's house. The game is now once again in that state where it's like, oh, you're inside a building, but you're actually outside because you respawn. And it's like, so some things get deloaded and it doesn't, not all the things work. There would be a gazebo over here to the left that would normally be there. This river is actually deloaded even though the water is still there as a texture. The water isn't there physically, so you won't be swimming. You'll just be running on the riverbed. And Lisa's house is gone, but the loading zone's still there. So we're gonna hit the loading zone for her house, and it's gonna spit us back outside. So now, with all that set up, we can finally do the series of skips, because this puts us in a perfect state to be able to access the entry to the 5th dungeon. We're gonna come over here to this half, and there's a blue gate with a lock on it. Like, how do I get past that? Luckily, there is this one specific plank that we can jump on, and we can do a seam walk on top of the fence, and we can just get past that locked fence, which you otherwise wouldn't be able to open until you've beaten the 2nd dungeon, which is a water dungeon that we just skipped. That's very long and very hard and annoying. Now we're coming up on another gate with a red door, and you would get this once you beat the 3rd dungeon. You're like, how are we going to skip this? There's no seam walk up here. Yeah, we don't need that. We just walk around it. Now we're going to run on these railroad tracks, and we're like, oh no, there's boulders in the way. How are you going to get past them? They don't exist. So, because of the state we're in with all those RORs and reloading areas, the game just deloads those boulders because you're definitely not supposed to be up here at this point in the game. So there's this tram up here that is the access to the 5th dungeon, and we can clip out of bounds because of the state we're in, and then come over here and set up on this little railing and walk down it. So we're a little bit lower. And because of the height we're at now, Annika will just clip up into the cart. And just like that, we have access to the 5th dungeon. So now we get a nice little walk cart, or walk, not cart, ride, that's the word, to the 5th dungeon. Look how happy she is. Okay, welcome to the 5th dungeon. Skipped a lot of game. So this is Triangle Mountain. The story up to this point is blah, 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 blah. You're not supposed to be on this mountain because it's very dangerous to the public, so it's blocked off for a reason. Giraffe went over here, though, because there was a dungeon on it, and he lied to us. He actually can't enter dungeons, and we're like, why did he lie to us? So we have to go figure out and find him. This dungeon is very long and very hard. You would normally have a power-up from the 3rd dungeon, which is the dash upgrade, where you can press a button and you would like run at a really high rate. And because we don't have that, we have to do it without it, which is very hard. So I'm gonna go ahead and skip past that ghost. Ideally, I don't want to take any more than 2 hits here from either the ghosts or this jerk up here. So I took already 1 hit, which is pretty unlucky. That one's pretty hard to dodge, though. This guy shoots water at us, and that does quite a bit of damage. But hopefully, we can just get past all that. Nice. Boulders are 1-hit KOs, but you can just skip past this if you hold the correct angle here, without having to like run away from the boulders. And same deal here. Ooh, I got stuck. Okay, got lucky. This room is a giant pain, and it's probably the single worst section of the entire run. This is Tornado Room. This room you're supposed to be dashing through, but we don't have the dash abilities. So we have to kind of make do with what we have. So we have this lone sentry. Dodging him is not a challenge, but they blow wind at you, which reduces her walking speed, which you're supposed to dash through. And these tornadoes deal a lot of damage. So how we're going to get past this is we're going to go over here to this left side and walk up over these rocks. And this allows us to skip a majority of this room. And then we're just going to have to kind of hold forward and hope the game lets us through, which it does. Nice. So we got past the hard part. I should be fine on HP. If I wasn't, I would eat this pumpkin here. It would be a full health recovery. It's a nice safety strat, but I should be okay here. I'll only take one shot from this guy, which shouldn't put me in death. Perfect. Here, if I'm lucky, I can do a pop-up strat. Nice. And doing that pop-up, like walking on that bridge, puts the boulder away, so we don't have to wait for it. Hopefully that right there is enough health. I might be a little close on it. Here, just platforming, kind of skip the rings, because the rings have wonky hitboxes and you can easily clip it and fall off. Should be good on health, though, hopefully. I'm going to take one hit right here from this tornado guy, who's also kind of a troll and wants to push you off this fight. Okay. Very close on the health. That's as low as I can get without actually dying. Here, I'm going to cut this corner. And now we're up to the upper half of the mountain. Right now, I'm going to go on a third-person shooting adventure. We're going to take this rail cart, and Annika's like, I need 2 people to operate it. We're going to take this save statue, known as Mrs. Save, with us. We're going to do this heal talk here, where we talk to Mrs. Save while standing next to the heal crystal, and that'll put us up back to full health, which is very important for this upcoming section. I don't want to break because it's slow, but again, if I get hit by these boulders without breaking them, I instantly die. There are some fire bar ghosts that deal quite a bit of damage. I want to try and do the damage if possible. But I can shoot them to stun them quite easily. Taking one hit from a fire ghost, though, is okay, but I ideally want to take 0 hits. Aw, I missed that guy. That's unfortunate. That's okay, though. I can do this with this health. Oops, stuck on the bridge. Here, I'm going to run to the outside section and then kind of just hold forward, because if I do that, these won't hit me. And then I'm going to hug the wall of this bridge, which puts Annika in this weird state where she's invulnerable to getting hit, but she does get slowed down quite a bit, which is obnoxious, and sometimes you get hit because you're changing the angle. This health should be okay to run through. This is a little dangerous, but okay. Next, we're in the double rock pit section. This section is very scary. You can easily die here. I can do a little bit of a skip, depending on how I maneuver through the rocks in this first part. Kind of like so. Very nice. That avoids me having to wait for the rocks, but the second cycle I have to wait here. Otherwise I will get clobbered and take an instant death. Okay, very rough health I'm at, unfortunately, which means I'm probably going to take a death here to the fire bar section, so that's okay. Taking a platform up. I'm going to wedge myself up against this post of things. There's heavy winds. You can just also resist the winds, but this gives my hand a break. So, we're doing very well thus far on this Triangle Mountain section. So, if you remember, Lisa was like an evil witch. We broke into her house and whatnot. She's coming back. I have to focus here. Wait for the cycle. Nice. Very, very well done. Now we are at the summit. So Lisa is now turned into an old lady, not the young, beautiful witch that she once was. Skip a cutscene. She has Giraffe captive. We're like, give him back. And she's like, no, you're terrible. You don't deserve to have him. Blah, 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 blah. Things happen. And then Giraffe summons our wand for us. And we use that to battle with Lisa. This song is very hard and very long, so I have to be very careful to not die here. There's a lot of stream notes that I want to avoid if I can. The music in this game is very well done, though, and I do appreciate it. I wish we played the second dungeon, because the second dungeon has the best song in the game. It's just so well done. On this song, I'm not going to be too picky about hitting goods or greats. As long as I hit the note, I'm usually okay with it. Just because of how hard this song is, and dying is very easy to do. What? Oh, okay. That was a standard empty miss. I thought I got hit by the orb with lightning. I was going to be mad.
Do we have a second?
Yes, this is Auto Troll. Go ahead.
Okay, perfect. I just wanted to remind everybody that we are raising money for LEAD. LEAD is a substance use prevention organization that believes young people are capable of making good decisions. The core reason LEAD exists is to significantly reduce drinking, drug use, and other risky behavior by youth, while working simultaneously to eliminate the root causes of these issues in the future. If you'd like to learn more about them, you can go to linkingefforts.com. Additionally, we do have another bid war coming up pretty soon. It is for Puyo Puyo Fever 2. We have a character bid war going on right now to decide what character Peas is going to be using while playing that. And it is between Sig, who's at $20, Amity, who's at just $1, and Rafina, who is at $27. So if you want to influence that, please get your donations in. You can donate with the Ko-Fi link that I've provided in the chat.
Okay, so during the half section point, Lisa used her magic. She separated the cat and I, so we're no longer Cat Girl. We're just Annika. The cat is Lisa's cat. Part of the story is that Lisa's actually our grandmother, and we're fighting her. A note now. Okay. Section's a little scary at the end because if you die, you basically take a 3-minute death, so you don't want to see that happen. Under 7,000 though is about what you're aiming for on the score. So yeah, we defeat Lisa. She'll be like, "Fine, I'll accept it," because she didn't really accept this. This is actually a fake reality world created by Lisa. This is not the actual Spica Island. And so because of that, the island is now collapsing because it's not real. And we get Giraffe back. So the game now is like, okay, I'll give you your upgrades because you obviously beat in the 5th dungeon, so you must have beaten all the other dungeons. This section right here, and there's another one coming up, I have to wait for Giraffe and the cat to get on first. Otherwise, the game will yell at me and say, "You can't leave them behind," which is very irritating because they could just get on right after I get on. But no, I have to wait. So here's the dash ability. You get a little bar and you go zooming around. Very convenient. You're gonna set up and just wait for them to get in. And then now I'm just gonna hold straight up and mash A. Annika will do a little bit of a cutscene walk, or she'll just walk straight into Giraffe, and then I'm able to save a second talking, or we're just walking to Giraffe here after thing loads. Okay, Speak Island falling apart. bunch of characters over here in this section of the island that we didn't get to meet because of any percent. This is a section of the island we just didn't visit because of any percent. So now we need to run up this lighthouse, which is very noisy and is an echo chamber. And then we just sit here and wait for Giraffe to run this slow butt up here. We've got to sit here and wait. Okay, so we make it, and Giraffe's like, all right, you got to get out of here. And Annika's like, not without you. And Giraffe's like, you can't take me. And Annika's like, okay. So that's that. And now we spend like a minute running up to heaven, as I like to call it, because this is all you're doing. You're basically just running straight forward for close to a minute. I'm going to get my bar all the way down to the bottom without depleting it fully. If I deplete it fully, it recharges slower, so I don't want that. So I'm going to wait for the bar to get up back to like 80, 85-ish% before I use it again. And then I will run back up. Right about there. Maybe a little bit less would have been fine. Yeah. So once you get high enough, the white light envelops us. The island has fallen apart, but we've made it to safety. Get a nice bright white screen for a little while here. Gotta wait for the game. Yay, okay. Now we can skip a cutscene. And then we save for 5 minutes. So this game is timed in JRTA, which stands for Japanese Real-Time Attack, which usually, back in the old days, refers to completion upon credits or an in-game time being posted, which is at the end of the credits in this game. So that's why we get to sit here and watch the credits. But this few minutes is perfect time for me to explain the story. We're Annika, that's our mother and father, taking us back in this minivan. You can see Lisa here with the cat. These two, our mother and father, were actually characters we would have met in the progression of the game. They would have been younger and different because the Speak Up Island that we were on was set in the past. And the reason why it was set in the past is because the game isn't really about Annika. It's about Lisa, our grandmother, and Giraffe. Giraffe is actually our grandfather, or Annika's grandfather, and the reason why he's called Giraffe is because Annika was young and always thought he was really tall, like a giraffe. So that's why she called him Giraffe. That's the plot the game gave. You can see the little crystal orb that she has, that are the things that we ran around finding throughout the dungeons, which we actually skipped most of them. So the reason why we're in this like kind of dream world of Lisa's is because from the game's plot, there was a ferry accident where 8 people passed over. 8 people were never found after the ferry accident, and Giraffe was one of those 8 people. Lisa believes that he did not pass away. He's just out there somewhere alive, and she refuses to believe that he passed away. The other people around her, I believe, have already accepted it. Here you can see a little bit of Giraffe's outline in the background. And then, yeah, that's that. The cat is like a symbol of like the playful spirit, I guess, of Annika and Lisa when they were younger. There's a whole lot of details that we kind of just skip 90% that aren't really reflected upon, which is kind of hard, why it's hard to explain the story fully. But that's basically the TLDR of the story. This run from me was a very good run. I managed to hit both RORs first try, which is very nice. I hit them basically as slow as you can hit them while still hitting them. I played it very unbelievably risky on Triangle Mountain, and it paid off with one sliver of a health point. Normally I wouldn't play it that risky, but I managed to get the health that I needed through the tornado room. So This game is available on Steam and Nintendo Switch. It's a very nice game. It's very just chill, fun to run around and explore. Casually, it takes about like 5 hours, maybe 6 hours, depending on how much you explore and find all the extra stuff and go for your ending or whatnot. But you really should play this game though for the atmosphere and for the music. They're very good for a company's first game. And this is made by Atelier Mamina, which is a Japanese game studio, indie dev, of course. But yeah, that is Giraffe and Annika at 8%. We got about a minute left on the credits here. This run was very good. I'm only about 7-8 seconds off my world record. World record currently is a 30:56 RTA, 30:41 IGT. This run is going to be about a 31:03, 31:04-ish, which is very, very good for a no reset run. But yeah, thank you so much for Speed Stuff for taking my run. Sounds kind of backhanded when I say that as an organizer, but I'm glad the team liked my run enough to want to put it in the schedule. And time should be coming up here shortly when in the bottom right, the IGT pops up. Should be in about 3 seconds. And time. Yeah, that is Giraffe and Annika, 31:03 RTA, 30:47 IGT. A very, very nice run. Thanks everyone so much for watching. Please continue to watch Speed Stuff for Charity 8. We have a lot of games still left. We have a ton of incentives and everything to be met. Please keep donating for lead. We really do appreciate it. And stay tuned for Shrek Smash and Crash Racing coming up next.